The frog had been dead for hours. Its body had gone cold. Its heart had stopped beating. There wasn't a single sign of life left inside it. Then, without warning, one of its legs kicked. It twitched once, then again. For a moment, everyone in the room froze. Dead muscles aren't supposed to move, not after an animal has died. Yet the lifeless frog lying on the table seemed to ignore everything scientists believed they knew about life itself. Some thought the animal hadn't really died. Others wondered if some mysterious force still lingered inside living creatures. But only one man became obsessed with a different question. What actually made the leg move? The answer to that simple question would spark one of the greatest scientific rivalries in history, and eventually give humanity its first battery. It was late 18th century, Bologna, Italy. There was a man named Luigi Galvani. He was a physician, an anatomy professor, and the kind of scientist who noticed details that everyone else ignored. His home was filled with dissected specimens, scientific instruments, and notebooks packed with careful observations. Even his wife, Lucia, often helped prepare specimens and paid close attention to his experiments. It began on one fine afternoon. While working with frog legs in their laboratory, something impossible happened. As a brass hook touched one of the frog's exposed nerves, while an iron instrument rested against another part of the leg, the dead muscle suddenly contracted. The leg jumped. Lucia noticed it immediately and called Galvani over. He rushed to his wife and watched in disbelief. And just to make sure, he repeated the experiment. And the leg jumped again. He tried it with another frog, but the same thing happened, again and again. This wasn't an accident. Something was causing dead muscles to move. Galvani became consumed by the mystery, and for years he experimented with different metals, different conditions, and even suspended frog legs from iron railings during thunderstorms. Every experiment seemed to point toward the same astonishing conclusion. He believed every living creature carried its own hidden electrical force flowing through its nerves and muscles. He called it animal electricity. To Galvani, the frog wasn't simply twitching. It was revealing one of nature's deepest secrets. And when he published his findings, scientists across Europe were fascinated. Many believed he had discovered the force that separated life from death. Almost everyone accepted his theory.
This changes everything.
Except one scientist who read Galvani's work very carefully and quietly reached a completely different conclusion. His name was Alessandro Volta. Volta didn't doubt what Galvani had observed. He doubted what Galvani believed it meant. One question refused to leave his mind. If the electricity truly came from the frog, why did the leg only move when two different metals touched it? The more he studied the experiments, the more convinced he became that the frog wasn't generating electricity at all. It was simply detecting it. According to Volta's theory, the real source of the current was created when two different metals came into contact, while the frog's moist tissue acted only as an incredibly sensitive conductor. What began as a twitching frog's leg soon became one of the greatest scientific debates of the 18th century. Was electricity created by life or by metal? Volta decided there was only one way to settle the argument. If Galvani was wrong, then he had to prove his theory and show the world that electricity could be generated without a frog. He accepted the challenge, and for years he tested different combinations of metals. Most attempts failed. Some produced tiny sparks that disappeared almost instantly. But Volta wasn't trying to create a spark. He wanted something humanity had never possessed before, a steady, reliable source of electricity. And then finally, in the year 1800, he found the answer. He stacked discs of zinc and copper on top of one another, separating each layer with pieces of cardboard soaked in salt water. It didn't look like a revolutionary invention. It looked more like a stack of coins. Then he connected the top and bottom with a wire. And, for the first time in human history, electricity flowed continuously. No lightning, no static electricity, no living creature. Just a steady stream of electrical power produced entirely by chemistry. Volta had built the world's first true battery. That simple stack of metal transformed science almost overnight. For the first time, researchers could produce electricity whenever they wanted, instead of waiting for thunderstorms or relying on unpredictable static sparks. It allowed scientists to discover new chemical elements, unlock the secrets of electromagnetism, build the first telegraph systems, and eventually develop electric motors, radios, telephones, computers, satellites, electric vehicles, and nearly every portable electronic device we depend on today. But the story has one final twist. Although Volta was right about where the electricity came from, Galvani wasn't entirely wrong. His experiments had revealed something equally extraordinary. Our muscles and nerves really do communicate using tiny electrical signals. Those signals control every heartbeat, every movement, every thought, and every sensation we experience. Galvani had uncovered the foundation of electrophysiology, the science behind pacemakers, EEGs, nerve research, and countless medical technologies that save lives today. He wasn't wrong. He was simply looking at the discovery from the other side. In the end, neither scientist truly lost the debate. Galvani helped humanity understand the electricity flowing inside our own bodies. Volta showed us how to generate it whenever we wanted. And it all began because one dead frog kicked. Sometimes the discoveries that change civilization don't begin with a brilliant invention. They begin with a strange question that nobody can answer. And in this case, it was simply, how did the dead frog move?